And we are live. So, tonight is going to be a little bit different, chat. I am basically going to kind of walk y'all through my process of reviewing a game. So, we're going to do a review for Monster Crown Sin Eater. The members over on the Discord voted for this week. I will essentially be having a review that people vote for every week, and then hopefully once I have a better system for things, you know, other reviews that I just want to do. But Monster Crown Sin Eater, what is this game? Well, this game is a monster tamer, very much so like Pokemon in a lot of ways, but also very much so not. And you can probably tell by the graphics, it's kind of calling back to the old Game Boy Color days of Pokemon. And yeah, it's a neat little game. I've had a lot of fun with it. I think I'm something like 20 hours in, because I've just played way too much of it and enjoy it. But we're gonna do a more like comprehensive actual review to try to, you know, parse out, is this game good? Is this game something you guys want to look at and, you know, spend your time and your money on? So right there, I just grabbed a little treasure chest. I gotta get off this dude. But yeah, that is kind of the big question we're trying to answer. I'm gonna get out of this town. I don't like this town. We're gonna go to a different one. Yeah, we'll go to the first town. We'll go to Appleton. So basically, this game is a creature collector. It is a lot darker than Pokemon, and it is a lot more open world and free roam than Pokemon, guys. So definitely, if you're already playing this game and you're kind of confused about some stuff, or you're thinking about playing it, understand that it's kind of an open world game in a lot of ways. Like, you're not pushed on your quest line. You kind of generally know what you need to do, and then after that, it's talk to everybody, and any one of these random NPCs can have a quest for you. That's kind of how I think the game's designed for you to interact with, right? You basically are going around talking to people, trying to figure out what they want and need, and that'll help you either unlock places, get into places, get you items, and sometimes even get you monsters. Another big thing about this game that is really important to know is this game has a huge emphasis on breeding and fusion system. Like, and when I say emphasis on it, I mean it is almost kind of a necessity, and I'll get to that in a second, right? It's a necessity in that if you want to make really strong monsters like the ones I have here, you kind of need to. But the game doesn't really necessitate really strong monsters. And that's kind of where some of the systems in this game kind of break down and start having issues, right? To be clear, I think this is a really fun game. I really enjoy playing this game. Like I said, I have, you know, over 20 hours in it. I will say this game definitely has its issues. But basically, after a while, after you breed and things like that, monsters are mostly their sprite more than anything, right? Like, I spent a couple hours finding this rare spawn. Actually, I found this one. The one I'm using is like his great. It's 11 generations after him. Yeah, I'm not saying all those greats. I don't have time for that. So, yeah, those are just kind of some of the more important systems in the game. After that, it kind of does the typical Pokemon thing of there are specific bosses and challenges you need to overcome, and when you do overcome those challenges, you get usually a new method of traversal of some sort. Like, for example, the last guy I killed gave me this, where I can just run super fast. And even when you're getting it, they're like, yeah, this is almost impossible to control, so watch out. But you can run super fast now, even faster than you would on a mount. Oh, you poor little thing. Yeah, this isn't even fair. Oh, and see, I missed. That is a big, big problem I have with this game. They actually did something Pokemon is kind of afraid to do, which maybe Pokemon wasn't afraid. Maybe they were just smart about it. Moves have very much, like, very varying accuracy in this game. Like, there are a lot more moves with 70% and 80% accuracy than there are in something like Pokemon, at least proportionally. So missing can happen a lot, which can be frustrating. So basically, I'm going to go through a couple of battles and explain some more things, and then we're going to get to kind of looking at why things are the way they are, and if this game is right for people. So we're going to go into the Gorgon Fort, I think. I'm going to see if I can find where, like, the king dude is that I'm supposed to kill. Because there is one. There's always one. I would imagine the giant spire. Ah, yeah, with the ominous music. Yeah. And treasure chests, there's definitely guys to fight in here. Okay, so the world is littered with treasure chests. One really cool system in this game that I like is that the world respawns by day. So you sleep, you come back, your treasure chests are back, your monsters and encounters are back. It makes grinding much easier. And so that is really helpful when you're just trying to, like, play the game, level up, and do stuff. So we're in here with the Beastmen. These guys cannot be tamed. They are not the same as monsters. They look like monsters, but they're not monsters. They're people, like you and me. But yeah, one thing I think that is really cool about this game is the crown system. What they basically do is you have this, I can't even mouse over it. You have the synergy gauge right above your monster's name, and certain percentages of that can be used to crown a move, and when you crown a move, it either does more damage, it does, like, a higher chance to, you know, do its effect. Something is improved about it. There are traits you can have on monsters that make the move into your type, which I don't really find that necessary. So this game doesn't have stab. Same type attribute bonus for those who don't play Pokemon. And that's the thing that says that, you know, if you are using Pikachu and you use a lightning move that's going, an electric move, it's going to do more damage. That's what stab means, essentially. This game does not have that. It does have types in a much more, I guess, simple and somewhat confusing way. There are essentially, let's see, we can go to the notebook. Yeah, here we go. There's 5 types: will, brute, malicious, unstable, and relentless. So this is the whole type chart for the game. And it's kind of good, kind of bad. I don't like it because these aren't things that directly, like, it doesn't tell you what's strong against what. Like, you play Pokemon, you know water is strong against fire. That's how they put out fires in real life, is with water. Well, they used to. So you know, you inherently know that. I don't know why will beats brute, but it does, which is fine enough. So that's kind of the type system, but there is no stab, which is very interesting and kind of changes up how you interact with your monsters, right? And I think a very big complaint that I've seen about this game going through the Steam is that if you engage with the breeding and fusion systems, your monsters don't feel unique or necessary. And what I mean by that is the breeding system is crazy, and I will go over it in a minute, but I wanted to get some other stuff out of the way first, just because of the fact that it's so extensive. But the breeding system changes a lot about how you interact with the game and can kind of invalidate itself. This game has a lot of systems, and some of them don't necessarily talk well to each other, is the long and short of it. So usually when I'm doing any kind of review, I start by, well, buying the game. Pretty much all my reviews, I think all of them are from games I purchased. I think there's a couple earlier on that I did that were from games that were given to me, but I try to purchase it myself, or if it's given to me now, I try to gift a copy of the game, and that is just kind of to stay on the up and up and like make sure people know it's not about that. It's about truly looking at the game. So I start with that, but a very important step I will do when reviewing a game is going to Steam and looking at the game. So we're just gonna bring this up real quick, and I look at the Steam reviews, and it's not because I'm like wanting to be told what to think about the game. It is because I want to see people's complaints. Because if I'm going through and I don't, you know, game has bugs and my rig just doesn't encounter it, well, I want to know about that. So I come to a lot of these Steam reviews, and when going through these, I noticed there's quite a few complaints about the game, but a lot of people do genuinely like it. And I fully get that after the hours I've put into this game, right? So what I check mostly are the not recommended reviews. A lot of the recommended reviews are usually people who are just genuinely happy with the experience. Very few people break down why they're happy with it. Some people do, and I'll read those, but I tend to look for the negative reviews to really look at the problems here, right? And it is basically just, there are some design issues mostly pointed at balance. I think this review sums it up pretty well. It is, you know, your monster identity isn't great, and you have kind of a lot of limits in the game until you don't. So that is like the main thing I will start with, is going on Steam and checking these reviews. But we'll come back here to the game itself, and we're going to look at a few things. So I've spent a lot of hours in this game, like I said, over 20. And I'm not done with it. The game is kind of one of those games that you choose the length of it. It can be long or it can be short, and that's up to you. If I just rushed the main story, I would have been done with this game a while ago. So this is the whole map. And this is one of those maps that's large and small simultaneously. As you can see, there are a lot of regions and things. It was rather big, but we're gonna ride around one. So what I do like is overworld sprites for monsters. I am a big proponent of that. Oh, this guy's gonna fight me. And so that's really good. And also how trainer battles are done. So some trainers like this guy will like chase you down and try to fight you. Other trainers do not care. They're just vibing. They're just chilling, and they're like, hey, you want to battle? That'd be cool. And you have to approach them. So we're just gonna wipe this dude's team real quick, apparently. And this kind of gets into the balance issue around the game. Now, I am playing on normal difficulty, so you guys know. But I've heard the balance problems persist to challenging, and you know, I don't really care what happens on story, and I'm sure the people playing through the game on story don't care either, right? They just want to see the story, that's why they're on that difficulty. This game is one of those things where I feel like in order to really enjoy it, you have to engage with all of its systems. However, the systems don't necessarily play super well together, so when you do engage with all of the systems, they end up kind of invalidating one another. So if you notice, that was like all OTKs except for the last guy. I think he took 2 turns to kill, maybe? I don't know, I wasn't really paying attention. But it was a fairly easy battle. Who's this dude? I don't think I've seen this dude. What brings you here? Alright. Cool, I guess I'll fight him. But I do definitely talk to every person, every NPC in this game, because that's really important. But the system's invalidating each other, back to that. Not this battle, because these guys are in the 20s, but the last battle, those guys were in the 40s, right? And so it should have been more even. Like, sure, this guy's about to be 40 or about to be 50, but like, usually that's still can be even. Not really in this game, but it's not actually a matter of level. Level in this game doesn't really matter, I've found out. Like, it does, but it doesn't feel like it really matters, because if you breed a really strong monster, you can punch up heavily. I'm talking 10 to 15 levels up. Okay. I turned that guy in. Yeah, alright. And now you see we're already in the next area. So these zones are not the biggest. They're not small by any means, but like once you can ride your monster around to places, it's fairly easy to get from zone to zone. But back to what I was saying about the monsters is once you engage with all these systems, they become overpowered pretty easily. And that complaint I saw in a lot of reviews, and I can definitely it resonates with me, right? As you can tell, because I have just this one dude I'm riding, kind of taking care of everything. Now, this isn't really a great showcase of that, because I am kind of over-leveled at this point for a lot of things. Like, I'm at the point where I really should just push story and beat the game. That's really where I'm at. But I was trying to kind of see everything it had to offer, plus the breeding system in this game is very extensive, and like back when I played Pokemon, I was a Pokemon breeder. That was the thing I did. You know, I really enjoyed breeding like perfect shiny Pokemon. That was the thing I had a lot of fun doing, so I was really excited when I saw that this game had a breeding system. And it's a decent breeding system, I will say that. Like, the system itself, solid. But a few things. So the game lets you kind of find your own way, and you're not kind of pushed in a linear fashion, which is really cool in theory, right? I don't like that in practice in almost any game, and that is because in practice, a lot of game devs don't have level scaling. I don't know how hard it is to code in level scaling into a game. So, you know, shoot me if that's like such a pain in the ass that like nobody wants to do it. I guess I get that. But on average, I think in a game where you can kind of pick which order you tackle things in, level scaling is a must, right? Because if you don't have that, you end up doing things like this where this guy is just kind of in my way by the fact that he talked to me, and he probably shouldn't have did that, right? He's gone. That's what's gonna happen. He's gone. So we're gonna just go on up, and I will start explaining the breeding system. And the reason I'm explaining all these systems, right, is I think it's really, really important to understand how all the systems work in order to review a game. Because if you don't do that, you're not giving the game a fair review. And that's why it's kind of why I do what I do on this channel, is I want to make sure that games are explained either properly or given a fair shake towards how they want to be understood, right? So this is where you breed monsters. You can come over here, this lady breeds them, and then you can go to the pink-haired woman, and this lady fuses them. Breeding and fusion are essentially the same thing. However, in fusion, you average the levels of the two monsters, and you get rid of the parent monsters because they get fused into one, right? Whereas with breeding, they have an egg, and you hatch the egg, and you keep the parent monsters. So depending on what you're trying to do, you want to use one or the other. Monster fusion is necessary if you want to breed evolved monsters. And when I say evolved, this game doesn't have your typical evolution like Pokemon, okay? This game has... they're called transformations, and they should be called transformations. So you use items to evolve them. Like, this guy is evolved. This is a one-stager, this is a one-stager, and this guy is evolved, okay? And this, I had to use, like, Frost on him and Book of the Dead on the other guy. So you don't evolve by level up, and truthfully, if you just were to never find these items here, these are all the evolution items, so Frostbite I used on one, you would just never evolve anything. Now if you evolve a monster and then breed it, the offspring will be untransformed. If you transform a monster and you fuse it and pick that species, then the product of the fusion will be transformed. So that's kind of important because, you know, I have 2 of these guys who are transformed, so I had to use fusion to get to them as opposed to breeding. These other 2 guys, I just bred them because why get rid of their parents if I don't have to? Keeping monsters with strong stats is important. So we're going to come in here and we're going to look at how the stats kind of work on monsters. They all have stats and they have stat potentials, which are they're like IVs in Pokemon, right? So this guy, fairly powerful, level 50. But if we go to my base stats, right? This is what you look at when you're breeding monsters, okay? So you want to have them fairly high. These are the highest you can go acquire in game. Currently, I think there might be like one. I think there's some monster that has a higher speed, but I haven't gotten to it yet. But it is fairly easy to get these maxed out stats pretty early in the game. There's one monster that you fuse, and then there's another monster that you can get gifted, and if you take those 2, together they'll have the highest stats of every category, and you're good. But if you notice, I'm going to come in here, and this dude has the same exact stats. It's going to be a little different because he's different level than the others, but they have the same base stats and they have the same stat growth. Actually, this guy's stat growth is terrible. Oh no, it's fine. And they have the same stat growth. So what happens is at the same level, all 4 of these will have the same exact stats, meaning that monsters are only about their sprite essentially in this game, which is a little, it's kind of a downer, right? That was a realization that I was not too happy with, because, you know, I like having to have monsters for a purpose. You notice my party isn't full. You can have 8, unlike in Pokemon where you can have 6, but I just have 5. I really have actually 4. I don't need to keep this guy. He was there because he used to be my strongest thing before I got the last couple stats to breed these 4, but I'm just going to use these 4 and I'm not going to pull anything else out. They're overstated basically, and then on top of it, they're really strong. I don't need other team members, but they're also kind of all the same. I have geared this guy and this guy more towards tanky moves, but when you're breeding, all of your moves get passed on. So, and you can come here to relearn moves. So we go to relearn moves. So all of the moves on the top, in current techniques, those would get passed on to an offspring. All of these backup moves, I'm not sure about. I don't think they get passed on. I think it's just these moves at the top here. But all of these moves can be swapped in at any time at this specific NPC, which is really cool. I really like that. But because you pass on the what is it, 6 moves at the top, you can kind of pretty much teach them all the same moves if you wanted to. So you could make these pretty much carbon copies of each other, just with different sprites. I teach them some different moves because I'm trying to stay away from like certain cheese combos. There's one very cheesy combination between Equalize and Steel Self in the game that are it's very OP. Hey, what's up, Tactical? This is Monster Crown Sin Eater, and I'm kind of going over how I look at these games and do reviews. Right now I'm kind of just explaining mechanics of the game, but we'll get into the reviewing of it in a second. I did breed horrors beyond human comprehension. I bred 4 that are just godly. But yeah, so these 2 moves have a very broken synergy. Steel Self ensures that you stay at 1 HP. No matter what HP you started at, you just brace, it's Endure, right? And then Equalize is Pain Split from Pokemon. So what you do is you Steel Self, take a hit from a boss, hit 1 HP, and then Equalize. and then you steal self again, and then equalize, and you could slowly just kill the boss that way. So you can use like quite low level monsters to take out much higher things if you use that broken combo. I try to keep that off of my monsters because I wanted to kind of just go at the game straight, but in breeding I made a bunch of godly monsters that they don't need to use equalize. They're just gonna I two-shot the last boss. So I think that's kind of where the balance issues in this game come into play, right? When you engage with the breeding system, and if you kind of know what you're doing and you find those maxed out stats, the rest of the game's trivialized. The problem with that is part of the reason you breed is to get powerful monsters to fight powerful things, but you just end up dwarfing their power. It's not even comparable. So I think that is a big minus on this game for me, is that the systems don't all work together. Here is the item shop. I've never needed to buy items. I think I need to buy normal packs, which are essentially Pokeballs, like in the first town, and I've never had to do it again. And that's essentially just because there's so many chests littering the world that every time you go out to go into a dungeon or just walk around, you'll find a few, and slowly but surely you'll have enough of whatever you need. Or everything. So basically, you know, I've played the game, I've explained the major mechanics to you guys, and that kind of gets to a point where it's me kind of thinking about the verdict of like, would I recommend this game to people or not, and who would I recommend this to. Yes, it does read a bit like Persona, because so instead of monsters or Pokemon or whatever you want to call these, they're demons. They're all demons, and you make a pact with them. So it is almost exactly like Persona in that aspect, right? You are making deals with them. Although very rarely have I ever had these deals fail. The only time they fail is like if I try to tame one that's at 100% HP, or I try to tame a demon monster as opposed to just a regular one. And you can tell by, you'll see it in a second, this guy's gonna glow. Yeah. See that like line that goes by their sprite? Oh, yeah. So that's how you know they are demon monsters, and they need demon packs to tame them. Right. But would I recommend this game? And that's a hard 50-50, and this is why my reviews come with me explaining mechanics to you guys about games, right? Because it's hard to make that decision for you, for someone else. If you really like monster tamers and you just kind of want to breed monsters to your heart's content, or you just want to go through a story that's kind of like this in this style, super fun, go ahead, play the game. If you want it to be challenging, I'm not sure I see that here. I'm not on the challenging difficulty, but I've heard from people who did play it on challenging that, again, if you breed and you do a couple of battles, you kind of just over level and outstat anything you're gonna fight. This game has another cool mechanic where your trainer you can use him to fight. So you can actually sacrifice monsters to your trainer to make him stronger. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this for a person that loves fine-tuning builds for custom approaches to combat? Okay, it would be a 5 in the sense of it is exactly in the middle. I think the breeding and fusion system puts it at a 10 because it's really cool to be able to make a monster exactly how you want to make it to approach combat, right? So for like, because that's kind of what I like in monster tamers, so I love that aspect. However, if you look at the rest of the difficulty of the game, it's entirely unnecessary. So that's why I would put it at a 5, right? You can breed whatever you want. You don't need to. Does it have a roguelike mode? No. But it is old school JRPG style, so if I die, I just get thrown back to my last save. and there's no autosave. So the whole thing is kind of roguelike mode by gameplay session, essentially. There's no checkpoints, there's no autosave. If you forget to save your game for 5 hours, GG, you did that to yourself. Which I kind of like, and I think that was a deliberate design decision to kind of throw this back to the, you know, days of Game Boy Color, like Pokemon games. I heard some reviews saying the game has no depth in story and that the open world opening up ruins it. How accurate is that? Okay, so this story is a weird level of, it is your kind of classic blanket JRPG story. There's bad guys who are in power. You have a team of monsters and they slight you in some way. In the beginning, they kill your brother, so you want vengeance, and you kind of just go on your story of revenge. There is nothing too nuanced about it that I've found so far. Now, I have not beaten the game, so for all I know, there could be a giant twist at the end, and you know, whatever. But so far, it is your typical fare of any RPG story. Someone hurt your family, and the world's kind of not going so great, and you're out there to fix it. The world opening up ruins it. Yes and no. I liked the world opening up in a sense of it plays like an open world game. You talk to every NPC, you can go anywhere you want and get side quests and kind of engage with like the whole world in any order you want. That's really cool. My issue with that in this game, and I think why people would say something like it ruins it, is there's no level scaling. So basically you get to a level of power to beat the first boss, and then by the time you leave the first town, which is Appington, and you can go to the rest of this map, you're powerful enough to fight most of the map. And if you put any effort at all into like any concentrated effort into getting stronger, you can just take most of the game, right? Like, I will explore dungeons now and I'll get to the boss, and if it's like a catchable dungeon boss, my fear is that I'm going to one-shot them, not that I can't beat them. And that's because I bred my party and everything. So and by the way, guys, you're gonna see me save even though I've done nothing. It is a compulsion. My first game ever was Pokemon Red, and I will just save randomly, which is why the whole saving thing, the no autosave, doesn't bother me. I know that's gonna bother some people when they play a game like this because they're used to autosave and they don't have to think about it. It doesn't bother me. I'm used to my AA batteries running out my Game Boy Color on a road trip and losing 2 boss battles in Pokemon and wanting to throw my Game Boy out the window. Hey, Paltan, what's up? How you doing, man? But yeah, so that is a good question, Alberto, and that's the thing about it is, I think, sadly, I think this game is a lot of good ideas with a not so amazing execution. Good. Probably check out the game I sent earlier since I just got home. That game looks great. I will be checking that out at some point, and I might even do a review on that. We'll see. He's referring to, what is it called? Prime Monster. It's a deck build, political deck builder. We'll get to that one day though. So yeah, like you see, I'm in a boss palace, and you know, one of the guards in here is 28. Yeah, it's an incredible amount of defense for not dying to Fat Slam. It was also a bad type matchup. But yeah, it kind of becomes this thing where, yeah, the world opening up ruins a lot of things about this game, but it's because just one more thing needed to be implemented. If they had level scaling, I think this wouldn't be a problem. You know, which in a lot of ways is the same problem Pokemon has had for 2 decades now, right? Pokemon makes things too easy for a lot of its older player base. And then, you know, there is no level scaling. There's no way to kind of rein in your power once you get really strong. So yeah, that is something I will say. Okay, something opened up nearby. Hopefully we can get out of here. Yeah, this game has a lot of concepts I really enjoy and a lot of things I really enjoy. I think the sprite work is beautiful. And I think the music goes hard in this game. So if you had a choice of one game to purchase right now between this game and Far Far West, okay, I would argue that's apples and oranges, but fruit should be able to be compared. So I personally would play, it highly depends. If you want to play a multiplayer game and you have like friends to play with or something, Far Far West by far, right? This doesn't have multiplayer at all. If you want a single player game that you can kind of sink your teeth into, you can try this. Here's the issue. I have a hard time just outright recommending this because of the issues. Now, that is to say, the devs have seen a lot of these issues that people are complaining about, and they're adding things to try to mitigate a lot of these problems. I probably should be reading what this guy's saying. This is an important story part, but I'm trying not to spoil anything for you guys, so I'm just gonna blow by the dialogue. Oh wow, it looks like this guy looks like what my monster came from. That's kind of cool. Yeah, so I would honestly say Far Far West is the safer bet. If you really like monster tamers and kind of don't mind if they don't really give you that whole everything super difficult feel, then this is a great game. If like this game, you have to really engage with all of the systems and kind of all the peripherals, and you have to seek out those side quests to kind of fill out the time. Because if you just rush story, I think, you know, I've seen some people complete this game in like 9 hours just by rushing story. Yeah. Oh, and back to how I was saying the balance is off and the power scaling doesn't work. This is a boss. This is like a big boss. This is like a main story boss I'm fighting right now that I just three-peated, right? Don't get me wrong, my monsters are insanely powerful, but I shouldn't be able to just three-peat this boss like he was nothing. But I did. Yeah, so between those two, I would go with Far Far West at the moment. It is a safer option. I can genuinely say Far Far West is just straight up a good game. There aren't a lot of caveats. There aren't a lot of, if you like blankety blank, you'll love it. It's just Far Far West is awesome. Okay. Or was that not the boss, but like his champion? Either way, it's a mini boss on the way to the boss if that wasn't him. Still should be a harder challenge than getting 3-shot by one of my monsters without him losing pretty much any health. Yeah, so that is the thing I will say about this game. And, you know, this is me just kind of going over my thoughts around this review. I'll have like a full in-depth review out later that is going to make all of this more concise and kind of just tell you the good, the bad, the ugly, the verdict, and everything. Thanks. Yeah, you're welcome. You know, that's why I'm here, is to hopefully just give people a little bit more insight on purchases, right? Yeah, okay, I was wrong. That was the mini boss to the boss. This is the boss. Let's see how rough he gets. See if he's all that in a bag of chips. Maybe he'll kill one of my monsters. Okay. What are you weak to? Right, you're weak to nothing. Let's get rid of that defense boost you have, because I don't like that. And I missed. That is the other thing. Too many moves have low accuracies. It's very dissatisfying when you miss. I don't mind things just like not working in ways, but like you can miss like 4 times in a row and then you want to throw your controller through the screen. But yeah, I think this game really needed level scaling and some other things. Yeah, so this boss is giving me a lot more trouble. I will say that. I will roll back what I was just saying a little bit, but not by much, and that's the messed up part. Your defense is down. I should just hit you. I shouldn't have hit you with Fat Slam. I am 50% loss on my defense. Hit you with Titan Tectonic. Yeah, so that is a big thing with this game. I think definitely in the review, I do want to cover the simple fact that it has too many systems fighting each other, and that's kind of what I dislike to see in games. You know, if you've seen the channel before, you notice I mention systems a lot, I mention mechanics a lot, and I really think if they work together well, you get a good game. If they don't, you kind of ruin what could be a better game. This guy having fairness is a pain, because he takes away all your defense, and then it's a problem. It's okay, though. I still have 4 dudes. Yeah, we're gonna go with you. We are going to... Do we Draco charge you? We probably Soryu you. I don't need to crown that. Get rid of all the stat changes, and then we'll hit him again. I think the other thing with this game that you do need to know is breeding and fusions are necessary, basically. If you look at a monster, they learn maybe 4 to 5 level up moves in total. Okay? You are not meant to ignore that system in this game. And that's kind of part of what I meant by you really need to engage with all the systems of this game to make it somewhat full. If you don't do that, you won't feel like it's good at all. And I think a big problem with that in this game and how they did it is this game doesn't... Ooh, that miss is gonna get me killed. This game does not go over its systems well. Like, it tells you, hey, you can breed, and that's important, right? It doesn't necessarily tell you why, and it doesn't tell you that, like, hey, if you don't, your monsters won't learn level up moves. Your monsters aren't gonna just evolve. That is the biggest part about this game. Alright, we are gonna actually have to do real things to you. We need you to just stop having plus 100% attack. That's very detrimental to me living. Cerebuster's fine. We want regular Soryu to get rid of my stat changes. Hey, happy Thursday, Juno. But yeah, so that is something I will say about the game. I've had a lot of fun with it, though. That is also something I will say. And I think the fun I get is because of the breeding system, because of those certain elements. I think this was one of those games where they put a lot of systems that they probably always wanted to see in a Pokemon game into it, and that is felt. That is felt. The systems are pretty cool. I enjoy how they exist. And I think that is really important. I think they had a vision, and I think it's cool that they seem to have gone for it. I just think there should have been more testing with certain things, and some things don't add up the way you might want them to. Alright, let's Blood Gluttony, see if we can get some of our health back. This guy's probably gonna go down, and because I was messing around earlier with my, like, little demon dude, we're gonna have a problem in a second, because all I have is, like, my Lobby left. Yeah. But yeah, that is essentially what I will say. We want... We could go with a Crown Fat Slam, I think. Yeah, that was the play. Kitsunugi's gonna be a problem. He's either gonna one-shot me, or I think... Oh, no. I have an insane amount of defense. I forgot about that. No, we can't. Fat Slam again. We want to Soryu. Yep, and there's Sarah Buster. Alright, so I'll give it that. And, you know, this game made me look like a moron, which I actually kind of like that it did that. I haven't had a trouble with these guys, but I did just now, so that's good. That is a good thing, believe it or not. Because now I'm just on my tamer, who doesn't have good stats, like, at all. You can actually put in a lot of stuff to give them good stats. I just didn't. And I'm also refusing to use items. I have items, I can res my team or whatever, I'm just not doing it. And this will show you how this game handles dying, right? So I went back to my last save. But yeah. So I think that is a big thing. But, I mean, as you can see, I guess the big bosses still can hit, so if you're just kind of mashing buttons through them, it will be a problem for you. Evidently, which is good. Which is good. We're gonna River of Gold you off rip, so that we can get faster. Yeah, I don't like his whole Kitsunugi thing. I think Soryu is the way to beat him. But I also hate that Soryu takes away my stat changes. It's really good if used right, and it's really bad if you're pontificating at chat and not paying attention to your stat changes. Okay. I think we're gonna want to Silver Dash to try to get as much damage as possible before you're gonna... Oh, Kitsunugi or Sarah Buster, either way, is gonna be a death here. Oh. Maybe not by Kitsunugi. Sarah Buster would have killed me, though. We're gonna Soryu to get our defense back. Yeah. So, as you see, I still do have fun playing the game. There are still good parts of the game. And I look forward to seeing what they either change or add to the game. I think the devs did something really cool with this game. That I do want to make known. Except when I miss. Every time I miss, I'm very mad at the devs. Very mad. Every move that has over like a certain power is like 80% accuracy. We're gonna go with you. We're gonna Crown Fat Slam at your minus 80% defense. We'll Crown Blood Gluttony. Try to put our health back. There we go. Yeah, Sarah Buster's vicious. Cool move, though. Get rid of your stat changes. And you're just gonna use Kitsunugi, or Kitsugi again. I'm acting like there's another N in there, because, you know what, I'm not gonna lie to you, chat. My brain never read that word. My brain saw a K and some other letters that seemed vaguely like someone was trying to do something, and I just went, sure, it has this name. But yeah, so we're gonna keep fighting through this guy, and hopefully I will show you what happens when you beat a crown boss, I guess is what he's gonna be called. I think we Titan Tectonic. Fairness, in this is a bitch. So fairness is one of the traits that you can get. Basically, it says every time he takes stat hits, you take stat hits. Which is kind of fun for the fight. It just is not the best for my monster's health or living. Or the fact that he has Cerebuster, because it does more damage by your, I believe, speed debuffs, or it's your defense debuffs, one of the two. Either way, it is killing me, as you can see. We're gonna Crown Fat Slam, though. The best around. Yeah, it really does kind of feel like that, doesn't it? We're gonna do this to get rid of everybody's stat changes, including my own, and kill him. There we go. So yeah, you still can run into challenges, but everything to get here was nothing, right? So it's interesting that some bosses still possess challenge, but like when I go into dungeons, those bosses get 1 to 2 shot. You saw the boss before this guy got 3 shot. So yeah. When I hear it, I think of the song right away. Here's the thing. In this game, the music slaps. Music absolutely slaps. I totally didn't read what power I just got. Oh boy. Charge Buster. Allows me to unleash devastating kick. Using Charge Buster on a monster will damage them slightly before they get to attack. It's a good way to get initiative. Okay. I'll have to figure out how to use Charge Buster, because it looks like I blew right past the tutorial for that, which is fine. Actually, can I fly from outside, from up top here? Let's check that real quick. I can. But yeah, as far as Pokemon, like, clones go, if you want to call it that, which I think is vastly underselling some things about this game, it's fun. It just has balance issues out the wazoo. And I think all of these games could stand to learn from this, really. I think this game just has it worse. That tells me I should breed more monsters. Let me go over actually what a monster consists of, though, right? So when you breed a monster, like I said, the stats, but you also have the positive trait and the negative trait. Every monster has one. This guy has Air Striker and Seaborn, which is very annoying because it was supposed to have Airborne. So I'm gonna have to refuse him and figure that out. Because Airborne gets rid of the negative traits of Seaborn. But like this guy has Sociable and Heavy. Sociable adds 20% to synergy boost to all switches involving this monster. Everything on my team except for my Surf monster, which is the last one I showed you, has that. So whenever I switch, I can just start doing crown moves and just ripping crown moves repeatedly. If I don't switch, I gain stuff normally, but if I switch, it's that. But now that we've done that mission and acquired... Let's see what we can do. We should be able to open up an area that was once closed. I don't know how to do it, but we're gonna try, chat. We're gonna try. But yeah, I think that is a big problem in this entire genre, is I think all of these games need... You almost need like a mathematician to build any of these games. Just to handle scaling properly. So that things don't break. Are you down here or are you up? I think he's up. No, you're down here. Okay, cool. Now I have to figure out how to do it. That's not what I wanted. Ah, okay. Cool. Let's finish that. It's kind of a long story. Alright, so that was a huge block that used to be a huge problem. And he gave me an evolution item, which, if you explore the game, it becomes kind of meaningless. I think they need to also kind of figure out how to make items and other things more meaningful in this game. Because like there is no reward that someone could give me in this game other than what I got, like the equivalent of an HM. That's nice. Everything else, I don't care. And I think that is a problem with games like this. I think the music's excellent. The sprite work is fucking amazing. Whoever did the sprites for this game, I salute you. They are beautiful on every count. And what's really cool also about breeding that I didn't mention is you can change your monster's coloring. So your monster's coloration, you can breed that into them. So like how this one is rainbowy, that is what's called a brilliant monster. It's this game's version of shinies. And in Fusion, I can pass that on. So that wasn't actually the brilliant monster I caught, but don't tell anybody that. So we're gonna continue on the story quest. I'm blowing through the dialogue so I don't actually ruin the story itself for you guys, but you are seeing, like, you will see two of the major fights. Two of the four, or I guess five, because there's probably a final boss, right? Two of the five major fights of the game is what you're gonna see. And I get caught by a little guy. But yeah, I absolutely love the sprite work. I love the whole hero leveling system, because if I wanted to, I could make my hero a very dangerous problem in this game, and I think that's really cool. I would almost love to do a full offering run, so you use sleeping bags to sleep when you're out in the wild, or I guess in a dungeon you could probably... Can I sleep in a dungeon? Yeah, okay, I can. You can also meditate. This... I'm not sure what this fully does, but it got me a demon to show up once. But offerings are really cool. What it does is it improves your hero's stat by 1, and it improves whatever was the highest stat of the monster sacrificed. So you sacrifice a monster and your hero gets stronger. So I think there is a world where you can say screw being a tamer and just kind of walk around and be like, I have gun, which I think is absolutely hilarious. The more advanced the power system in a game, the more hilarious it is whenever someone solves something by just saying gun. So that would be a fun run to do. I actually might do that. I don't know. I don't believe there's a new game plus, but I don't know if there are randomizers and or a Nuzlocke mode for this game. Obviously, with the Nuzlocks, you can just kind of do it yourself. Randomizers are really the thing that I think are cool when developers include it in their Monster Tamer games. Oh, why do you look big and weird? Okay. He just looks like a bigger version of the birds I see. Ah! He's supposed to look like the random birds I see. Oh, I didn't look at his typing. Fat Slam's gonna do nothing, yeah. It's a bad matchup. It's okay, though, because I believe Soryu will do more. Don't silver dash me, bro. It hurts. But yeah, and then you even see this massive power disparity between, like, these sub-bosses and the big boss of this area. The big boss should be more powerful. That's true. The sub-bosses shouldn't feel like a regular fight, though. But I think the big bosses each have, like, a mechanic that they go by, so the last dude's was a lot of stat modulation. And he's gonna fade away. Although, honestly, I feel bad for this game in the exact question that Alberto asked earlier, of if I was gonna buy one, insert any game here and then Far Far West. It's like, it's Far Far West right now. There are other games that are very good, but Far Far West, if that's on your docket of things you might want, it's great. Okay, there's a button there that I'm no doubt gonna have to press, but what am I pressing it to do is the question. Land on the teleporter to go to the next zone. Okay. Weird way to do that. Kind of cool, I guess, but like they could have just opened a gate, maybe? And like, that's the thing I will say about this game. For the complaints I've had about it, you're still seeing me like 20 plus hours in beating it. So I think that also speaks for itself, right? If it didn't have fun things about it, I wouldn't be 20 plus hours in. Let me tell you that. Do you need to be healed? Let's just... We have so much honey, we can just make sure you're full health. And the crazy part is there are so many monsters in this game. Like, if you include... Each monster has 5 variants for each of the types. So I guess 6 variants. They have their base form and the variant for each of the types. So it is crazy. And I heard the sprite work took like 3 years to do, which is fair. Like 1,000 plus monsters, that's insane. Which I think is really cool, and that is like another big selling point of how awesome this game is. Alright. What is up, dude? We're gonna fat slam you. You're gonna dodge it, of course. I don't want to get infernoed. Can I not? Can you not? Can I? Am I weak to that? I might be. Bad matchup. No, we're good. I forget the type matchups in this game all the time because I'm just so used to like this happens to me with any Monster Tamer game. Whenever they have different type matchups than like say Pokemon, I'm lost. I'm immediately lost. Okay, I kind of want to Soryu this off of me. You are a slippery little bitch, ain't you? Alright, so he basically functions by just saying, you can't attack me with magic, and I'm willing to bet that his magic resistance as like an entity in the game isn't that high. And his physical is like through the roof. Because like you saw how much damage that Fat Slam did not do, right? That miss, man. Missing just feels insulting in a game. In one of these games. I think that is one of those things that, like, it's just... It reminds me of missing in Pokemon, and it instantly makes me mad. Yeah, I was gonna say, that's gonna do no damage, because he got another Genbu off on me. Or not Genbu, whatever he's... Inferno off. Genbu's fine, Inferno's the problem. Thanks, man. Yeah, I decided to kind of do this to show people like my thought process going around like games when I review them, And B, just like if people have played these games and kind of have input, I'm always open to hearing what other people think about games, you know? Because a big part of my review process is even kind of looking at, okay, what do people think about this game? Hey, Dasman, thank you very much for the lurk. Alright, I'm gonna lose magic attack, which is not great. I actually think the key for this guy is just Soryu over and over again, really. Like, I don't want to, but I think that is the key to killing him. And that's the thing, these main bosses are more like puzzles, I guess. So that's fair. Yeah, he doesn't seem to be taking damage from much of anything, really. Which kind of tells me he's just really, really defensively strong. This game's music is fire. That is one thing, and I will definitely be including that in the full review. This game's music slaps. I absolutely love it. It's just very good. Alright, yeah, I think we're just gonna do our damnedest to erode your defense and then just put one in you. Right? Right, like I think that's the play. You just take away any defense you had and then pop out with someone who has huge defense and like sit on you. Yeah, I think we just mega fat slam on your head. Yep. Absolutely filthy. Hey, he's not taking a lot of damage. What if he didn't have defense anymore? Turns out, he takes much more damage. Who would have thunk it, chat? Certainly not me. In case you haven't seen me play games before, guys, I'm kind of a moron. Like, I can analyze systems and shit really well, but, like, actual gameplay, I'm kind of just an idiot. I will just, like, run at something the wrong way for way too long, and then I'll have, like, a... What the fuck? What? It's Neo from the Matrix here, just dodging bullets and shit. What? Do we just Draco charge you? No, I feel like we fat slam you to death. Thank you. Ouch, that price, huh? Yeah, this is 25 bucks. And I think that is really what kills it here for a lot of people, is the value proposition is off. Let's see what I get now. And I think that's the biggest issue, is when the value proposition is that off, it doesn't match up right. Okay, use the Holy Eye ability. Select Inspect option when in battle. This will give you a complete readout of the opponent's capabilities. Inspect is a free action, does not use up your turn. Alright, that's crazy. Yeah, the art is gorgeous, and if it's linked with a Pokemon game, it works, but just in the indie game space, it doesn't allow for that price point. Yeah, so that is kind of the thing, right? Is, yeah, in the indie game space, that price point hurts a lot more. which I definitely think is true. Okay, so this guy isn't on top of a mountain, so I can't just fly out of here, whatever. And that kind of kills it for a lot of people, I think. And not to mention, I think you missed earlier in the stream, but I kind of went over a lot of the game's issues, and they're not small. I'll say that. I think, obviously, given the time I put in, it doesn't really necessarily get in the way of the fun if you're, like, really into this kind of game. No, you can... Here's the thing, that's kind of why I did this, was so that people can throw their 2 cents in here, right? And, like, again, see what I'm doing and kind of be like, hey, you know, this is what I think, because that's kind of a big thing, is, right? I do my reviews the way I do my reviews for a very specific reason, and it's kind of to leave the choice fully up to the viewer, right? I don't like doing things like giving stuff a score, because I think that psychologically takes choice away, if that makes any sense, right? Like, if a game is described as having all the mechanics you like, and the downside is not something you care about, but then the game's rated a 2 out of 10, you're probably still not going to get that game, right? Like, that still sets off alarm bells when you go to make that purchase. Obviously, to be clear, I wouldn't rate this game a 2, and, you know, that's not how I am with a lot of things, but that's kind of why I don't use numbers. But I also do like hearing things that you guys think about when you look at games, because I want to make sure that I'm answering those questions in my reviews, right? I don't want to... I could release a review talking only about the music in this game all day long, and then people would be like, how's the gameplay? And I'd be like, oh shit. Like, I forgot to talk about the gameplay. The music was so banging, I just didn't speak on it. Valid, the 2 just makes it a hard pass, even if the 2 is because the game has too many furries. But you love furries, we all know you do. Oh my god. Oh my god, what has my community turned into? You guys are just shoving random things upon me at this point. I think it's useless to try to deny things on the internet. People have already decided. But furries are a big no for me. Time to enjoy some apple pie. Alright, Paltan. Oh, why is this one? I don't wanna fight you. Like, I don't think it's gonna have consequences for me, but I just don't want to do it. Oh, is this gonna make things a lot easier? Okay, no, it's not a real computer. So usually when they have, like, flashing lights on the computers, you can touch a button and it does something. But apparently not that time. You shouldn't have. Okay, goodbye. Sir, that was not your job to interfere. This was not your day to die. But yeah, and that's the thing. That's kind of why I review things the way I do, and I go about it the way I do, is I want people to make their own decision, but I want to give them the tools to make it, and kind of throw in my 2 cents about mechanics, and throw in other stuff. In other news, One More Run broke 1 gigabyte. Oh! Turns out 3D shaders take up a lot of space. Yeah, but that's pretty awesome. I mean, like, not necessarily that the game has to be physically large, but, you know, I feel like that speaks to the things you've added and changed to it, you know? That's really cool, dude. I will definitely be checking it out. Probably very soon, I imagine. What, when is the next major update? And for everybody in chat who doesn't know, Rekatan is developing a game called One More Run. I did feature it on the channel, and I will be featuring it again on the channel. The game's pretty dope. It is a survivor-like meets an ARPG, more leaning towards the ARPG, but there's definitely some survivor-like elements in it, with a lot of just other RPG elements, and it's very, very fun. Season 3 is locked in now for June 5th. Okay. Haven't been able to record the announcement video. Your son brought home yet another plague. As long as it's not the current possible plague that might be going around, then I hope y'all are good. I mean, I hope you'd be good either way, but whatever the current illness is not great, apparently. I just don't want people to be sick. Let's just go with that. I think I can say that. Where are we? Oh, we're flying to the spire. We're going to the middle, I think. So, actually, I'm not going to go to the middle. What I am going to do is go back to a lot of other dungeons and things. That has been something I've been doing, is engaging with all the side content in this game. And what I will say is, if you want this game to take 100 hours, I think you can do that. I'm not gonna say 100% because like I haven't done that yet. I'm not at that point. But if you want it to take 100 hours, lucked out, no COVID, no hantavirus, adenovirus instead, yeah, that's much more. That is. Oh no, a cold. This world is the definition of leveling. Yes, it is. Like, and that's the thing. There is so, to be clear, I've spent a long time talking about the flaws. There is so much to love about this game. And I feel like this is just kind of a pattern with my reviews, is I either spend too long glazing a game, and then I'm like, oh, by the way, guys, it takes your credit card out of your pocket and swipes it every 12 seconds. Or I'm like sitting there being like, here's why this game sucks. And then I just like get to the end and it's like, oh, but by the way, here's why it doesn't and is amazing and is worth your time. Because again, the world is gorgeous, the art is gorgeous, the sprite work is gorgeous, the music slaps, and some of the monsters are really cool. It just has some tuning issues that are not really ignorable. Which definitely for some people is a huge deal breaker, you know? And like, to be clear, I can't blame those people for that being a deal breaker. Can I not break that type of rock? Okay, I thought I could. Can you not try to fight me, dude? Guys, nobody wants this. You don't want the smoke. You don't want the smoke. Go away. I will be taking that. No. I need an adult. This is what I was looking for. Don't fight me. I'm afraid of you. Kinda. Not really. I just don't want to fight you. Oh, and also they have this little callback in here. This is essentially missing no in the game, which is really cool. You can't hit it. As you've noticed, there's no music. But if you listen, there's waves, which I think is really cool, right? Because they made a reference to Missing No, and if you know, you know. Missing No was found on the side of Cinnabar Island. So when you were fighting it, there would be waves there. So I think it's really cool that it just makes the beach sound. I don't want to kill you though. Oh boy. Will you just get in the ball? Hey, he knew it was good for him. It was either that or you were dying here, fam, so... Plus you got this creepy glitch dude following you. What is that? What are you? I think I want you. I don't know what you are. You're normal. Can we just supreme you? Get in the ball? Get in the ball. Yeah, this game has so many systems, and I think that was its downfall almost. Like, I think maybe they should have paired off like one or two of those systems and strengthened some of the other aspects of it. But the devs are very responsive. They seem to be putting out bug fires and things around the clock with this game. They've already released a update, a hotfix, so I think that is always very good to see. When I was in high school, one of my friends came back from a 2-week trip to Japan with a Mew on his US copy of Blue. We cloned the shit out of it. Nice! That's awesome. That is, man, I miss those days. I think, okay, so one of the, I know this is gonna sound weird. One of the biggest pluses for me about this game is that it is unknown enough that you can't look things up. It's like a mix of unknown enough and also just like ambiguous enough. This is for a quest. Hey, don't fight me. Got Burning Sky. What the hell's Burning Sky? So yeah, that is something I miss, and that is something I enjoy about this game being not well known, is it feels like those good old days where like you're learning information on the playground from somebody just being like, oh man, I heard X, Y, and Z, you should go try that. It's actually funny, one of my best friends growing up, her and I would play Pokemon together all the time, and I found out like years later that for a little while she held the world record speed run for Gen 1. Now, to be clear, this was without glitching anything. This was like just actually fighting bosses and going through the game. But that was a really interesting one. Yeah, some sense of discovery is lost, right, and that's why that's something I think has been amazing about this game for me, is it's back. The sense of discovery is definitely back. I mean, so this guy, the bird I have leading my party, is actually a rare spawn, and I did find that from looking it up on the internet, but I had to look, first off, and second off, I spent so much time trying to get this dude, and it just kind of, it made more of a sense of this is mine and this is really cool, you know, and I think you don't feel that as much with games anymore. Alright, I think I'm gonna clap this guy up. But he can be captured, Belphegor. I don't want to hit you too hard, man. I don't want to kill you. Okay, we're good. So yeah, I guess not so much on the like main bosses, but this is what I mean by the difficulty gets a little too easy. Is like, this is a boss of a dungeon. Like, he's a real boss. He should be a problem, kind of. Oh boy, they just made this dude straight up a dog. Let's play catch. Alright, okay. You know, I'm glad he's happy-go-lucky. We'll get him a ball. Maybe like a Necronomicon kind of ball. Like, it's, you know, some sort of skin. It'll be something heinous. He's a demon. He'll love it. It's only if he's a good boy, though. Alright, now we can leave here. Oh, the one thing I do want in this game is a freaking escape rope. I want, yeah, exactly, super anticlimactic. That is the thing. And like, to be super clear, Rakatan, the monsters I have are specifically bred by me to be genetically altered freaks of nature and terrifying, and they are. So like, if you don't do that, maybe that's more of an issue. Probably is, actually. However, if you give me a monster catching game and you tell me that I can just make heinous abominations the likes of mankind has never seen, I'm a biologist. I have to do it. It's for science. It's for science. Oh, I also just went out of my way to kill that guy because these are the Blisseys of the game. They give massive amounts of XP. So you saw I just went from 32 to 41 from killing that one dude. Which is essentially how I level now, because you find them just enough that they can be a main source of leveling, and everybody else gives just little enough XP that I just don't want to bother like killing 300 of these dudes in this crypt here. I should probably catch that dude. He's a starter, but I don't want him. I'll come back. I know where he is. I don't need to get him now. We do need to turn in something to an old man, I think. I don't really remember who gave me the quest. Let's assume it was an old man. That's usually who gives quests to heroes. Old man, or a woman of noble descent, or a poor woman that has kids. Those are like the 3 types of quest givers to heroes. Everybody else just like goes through the guild or something. Ah, no. I'm outside, we saving. What? There should also just be a button for a ride. Alfric, you don't want this. You want to live this day. Although they listened to their community and added a toggle for run, and that is amazing. Here's the old man, I think. Orb's beautiful, long since dormant, blah blah blah. Okay, so I can keep asking him of that story. That's pretty cool. Flee, we don't run from battle. So when I'm on a freaking dragon and you're just a little dude, I sometimes do. Because it feels like, Paltan, this was the other option. Oh, it's just mean. It was just mean. Because I also have a hero skill. This is what I was just about to explain. Tamer perks are really cool in this game, and I think should be something that should be implemented in Pokemon. That is one of the biggest things I would say about this game. I either wish they had level scaling and would implement some more balance options to the game, or I wish that. I want to be clear. I wish that. Or would have been cool is if Pokemon had the good sense to implement a lot of these other things in the game, in their games, right? So like, this is, your Tamer perks are really cool. So you get these after the first boss because you're now kind of a demon thing, whatever. So Inhuman Biology enables Acer, that's the hero's name, to optionally kill and eat monsters that have meat. The strongest stat determines the type of meat obtained. So yeah, that's how you can make your hero stronger if you want. So like I said, you could probably do a hero only run. I just don't know how. And because I haven't really thought about it. But so those first ones are all of the like things that the bosses gave you, but then like breeding expert decreases the time to hatch eggs, pact comprehension increases pact efficiency by 0.5 times, 50%. Synergy mastery, so all of those things just help out in facets of the game, and I think that is really cool. It kind of gives there a reason to be like a trainer, right? Like, because if you think about Pokemon, the trainer that you're playing is a plot device. That's all. They are there to provide a means of having a plot. They do nothing essentially and don't need to be there whatsoever. We could have an entire game without the trainer. Oh wait, it's called Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. You could just add like a team of 6 to that and have it have classic Pokemon battle style, and you wouldn't need the trainer, which is why I think these tamer perks are a really cool system that this game has. It has so many freaking sick elements to it. I think making kind of hair splitting the difference between the fusion system and the breeding system, great idea. I think that's huge, especially as someone who breeds a lot of Pokemon. Let's see, did this demon even have good stats? Okay. Like, nothing better than stuff I've made or already have, but like, if you just caught him outright, that'd be pretty useful. Aethermancer solved that really well too. Yeah, Aethermancer? Do not get me started on Aether. Oh, that game is so good. I don't have enough time. So I will admit something. I will admit something that I'm ashamed of. I have not played enough Aethermancer, and it is not because I don't want to, and it ultimately isn't because I don't have enough time to play it. I know I don't have enough time to devote to that game what I want to devote to it. That's my issue with Aethermancer. Is it's that level of like, hey man, I can't play this game or else you'll look up and you'll be like, Cobalt hasn't released a video in 3 weeks. What happened to him? And I'll just like be in my office having not showered in forever, just being like, oh man, I got just one more run. Just one more run. And it'll be bad. Okay, I think I can now go into Big King Fuck Off Tower. Which means I'm basically at the end of the game. I think. I don't know, by the way. But I had initially heard a couple of complaints about the game being short. And I do really think that is just a byproduct of people not understanding how much you have to engage with going around and doing stuff. You want Aethermancer with this level of world building? Rakitan, I have like a list for my ideal monster tamer, because here's the thing, and for those of you who don't know, my channel actually, originally starting out, I was gonna go towards monster tamers and not roguelites. I just didn't have a good way of generating enough content, and I didn't want to go full PokeTuber because A, I have my gripes about Pokemon right now, but B, even there, like, just looking for ROM hacks to generate content. This channel was originally gonna be more about monster tamers. I really love monster tamers. It is probably the only type of game that I would argue I like more than a lot of roguelites. It was my Pokemon Red was the first game I ever got. I got a Pokemon Red and a Game Boy Color, and I never looked back. But, you know, I think I went the right direction with just kind of generally going indie and mostly focusing on roguelites. But I have a list of features that I would love to just cram into one monster tamer and just watch it be the greatest monster tamer of all time. Do I have the skill set, or do I know people who have the skill set to make this happen? God, no. Will this ever happen? Probably not. Are there games that I think might be able to do this? Possibly. I'm actually really looking forward to Lumentale, because they made Pokemon Xenoverse, and that was a bop. That game was absolutely phenomenal. Oh. Okay, so they just gave you a floor to infinitely level grind. That's both scary and kind of fun. It's not that scary. I definitely won't beat the game soon though, even if this is the last challenge, because here's the thing. There are a bunch of really cool monsters I know about that are supposedly in this tower, and I am going to breed them. I have 4 spots left on my team, guys. And you betcha I'm gonna fill those spots before I hit the boss. Although, is this only gonna spawn those, Blissey type dudes? Is that what's gonna happen? I also like how they didn't make them actually like Blissey. They're not like, this is the tankiest fucking thing that's ever been in the game. They're like, dude, just wow. Oh, hell no. What the? It's the eyes, guys. It's the fact that it's a demon zebra and every one of its stripes has an eye in it. I'm not sleeping tonight. I would catch this, but I don't have a lot of demon packs. Fairness, Nocturnal, Piercing Gaze, Equalize, Dizzy Beamer, Black Magic. Tyosen, I don't have that move. I guess I have to capture it. What is this cursed object? Dude, I don't know. I don't know. But I see you gotta go, Rekatan, so you have a good night or day. Have a good day. And I hope your child feels better. But this cursed object, it's an Optigris. Ah. So the stripes are more meant to be tiger-like, and I don't wanna be with that thing. That was heinous. The eyes, guys, the eyes hurt. Oh. Yeah, you know, the Trove evolution looks way more heinous when it's not mine. Like, I have one in my party, but then seeing it is like, oh, that's what I'm doing to people? Don't worry, guys, this is just a hybrid of the last thing that I fought. So it looks like it comes in different animal forms. That's kind of cool. Twitch is being stupid, had to switch up to the tube. Well, welcome to YouTube. Thank you for tuning in regardless of what websites you're on. That shows real support. Genuinely. Thank you. I don't want to catch this guy because he's a... Wait, is he a demon? No, he's a hybrid. He can't be a demon. Oh! Hold on. Hold on. Guys. You still have Tyosen? No, you don't. You don't have what I want. You should, though. We're gonna catch you. Will you respond to a normal pact and I don't have to beat your ass? Yeah. I thought that 8 HP might be convincing, my guy. It was either that or put you 6 feet under and laugh about it. Okay. What? No. I hate that, like, if the monster lags behind at all, you can't ride it. Can I not ride anything inside here? That's... Oh, it's a cave. That's annoying. Alright. Paltan's gonna be mad at me because I keep running from battles. I want to be clear, I'm not scared. I just... the amount of time for the battle animation to play out is more than I want to waste on these weaklings. Paltan, I'm running away because I'm too strong. Okay? I'm running away because I'm a man. And that's what it feels like to try to Ford F-50 billion. Okay, I don't like that. He's got a little dude riding him. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, look, he's got a little dude. If you don't die, I shall keep you. And I will name you Fluffy. Oh, that's a hippopotamus with human hands and a horn. That's being ridden by a little shadow dude. You ever see some things and think, maybe mankind shouldn't have? That's not this. This is a great design, I think. But I get why people wouldn't. Ooh, salt in the wound. Why that doesn't? I was under the impression that that did no damage unless I had something. Ooh, Shadow Servant. I don't have I might have Shadow Servant. We're just gonna Demon Pact him up anyways. Hey. So I really do like that this cave is full of... Whoa! Okay, hold on. Hold on. Full of weird, creepy demons, and then leveling fodder. Just because, I think what I'm gonna do is grab a lot of these demons, make a lot of hybrids, and then level some things. Oh, I missed. Come on, man. You drive a Ford F-150 fully loaded because you're short? Hey, that's a perfectly fine reason for it. And you know what? You're right. I don't know what it's like driving a Ford F-1000. I just see memes about what it's like driving a Ford F-1000, and I go, ah, it must be this. And here's the thing. I've had no person actually tell me or prove me otherwise. I mean, you even just admitted it yourself. You drive one because you're short. It's fine. But, like, that's what they're for. Alright, I saw what this floor had to offer. This tower is sick. Although this tower really screams end of game. Can we... Here's... Okay, I have a big monster tamer conundrum. And I have not figured out a very good way around it, and it drives me insane. There's so many monster tamers, as how games do things, right? The really cool monsters are not obtainable till the end. But unless you have an extensive end game, I get my cool monster that I really wanted, and then the game's over. So what's the point of having the cool, awesome monster? Right? Like... Alright, this guy... I already have one of these. To be clear, I think this design's really sick. I just have one. Rivardian. I want that dude. I want the red dude there. I don't know what these weird dudes are. He looks like he has hands for a tail. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Utarius? Okay. You respond to Cold Flurry, and you guys aren't getting, like, one-shot by my stuff anymore, so yeah, I'm willing to fight you on the level. Yeah. Okay. Don't silver dash me, you gaping. Ugh. Whatever. I wasn't gonna call that something terrible. Guys, I gotta censor myself. I'm really out of control here. Okay, we use this Demon Pact. I might need to go leave here and get more Demon Pacts before I face, like, the boss or whatever, because I don't know... I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be a you can catch this. That's why I'm saving before I go up every floor. Yeah, I do like this tower is like encapsulating the entire world. Like, God, this game did so much right, and then there were so many missed opportunities. Which, man, if you're really just a huge fan of Monster, what are you? Oh, I've been looking for you. Are you not a demon? You're not a demon. Hey. I want one. Like sanguinate. Okay. Good. Good. Huh! I almost murdered him. man, barely survived. You probably just want to get in the ball, buddy. Yeah. Yeah, that's good for you. No, he and I are okay. Spend more time on your game. You know what? That sounds, yeah. That sounds like it, man. That's love right there. No, I don't want a gulping goal. If you ever get this game and do play it, you'll realize why I don't want one of those. It's kind of shown to be weak from the jump. I don't think it's actually that weak. I think some characters needed to be stronger, and they weren't. And they paid the ultimate price. Oh, why is there a little girl? See, that's the problem. Why is there a little girl? I'm the creature under the bed of every child in the Crown Nation. I'm the hanged coat that appears like a man in the dark. What the fuck? They put the Hat Man in the game? Chat, it's the Hat Man. She just expects one more run to someday make us billions of dollars. Hey, that's still love right there, because she put her faith in you and believes in you. I'm Lord of the... Oh, God. This is the fucking Hat Man. Please don't one-shot this. I don't... No! You don't need to worry. I cannot one-shot this. I don't think my numbers are big enough. I am gonna blood gluttony this to see if I can put my health back. Or if I'm gonna get toasted. Yeah. Alright, I'm really happy. This is what I wanted to see. This is cool. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Sorry, I'm just like I'm super happy that I'm now facing something that is gonna be a problem. My brain is like, what do we hit it with? I think we Cold Flurry it to just try to reduce all its stats, and we continue to Cold Flurry it. Ooh, weak spot, hell yeah. I don't need to Crown Cold Flurry. We'll leave. We'll just Cold Shadow Servant. Okay. That little mother... Alright. I could not give a swift backhand and move on. However, it halved its own health by using what is essentially substitute that attacks. Cool idea for a move. It halved its own health. All right, chat. What do I do? Do I go let it burn through my team, or do I just pull out the big guns and try to melt her? I think I let it burn through my team. I think this is a cool fight, and I wanna experience the coolness of this fight. I don't need a blood gluttony just blood gluttony. Jesus, I can't speak. What does Fat Slam do to you? Oh, God. Okay, that did nothing. Guys, we're in trouble. I'm in danger. Oh, no. Okay, well, and see, you know what? Here's the thing. I'm happy this exists here. I love that this is here. I wanted this spread more throughout the game. And if you're gonna argue that I like over leveled or whatever, then it shouldn't have been as easy as it was to over level. Those are my arguments around this, but let's put a minus 100% on all of her stats, because if I'm fighting the Hat Man, I'm fighting the Hat Man. I'm not half-assing the Hat Man. You are not a demon. You're not obtainable, right? Yeah, okay. I had to check chat, because I don't know, the Hat Man would look good in my foyer. Oh, you missed. We're back in this. Oh yeah, you have negative 100% accuracy. I don't know if you can hit me anymore. Minus 100% to all stats should just equal no stats. Yeah, I think it's there. I believe you can see the calculation somewhere, and it's minus to like a modifier, but not to the base of the stat. And with Blood Gluttony, I put all of my HP back to where it was. So, to be fair, what's happening now is because I specifically built these monsters to do what's happening now. When I was breeding them, I had this exact strategy in mind where I was like, I'm gonna need to subtract something's stats so horribly one day that I should just make a way to do that and then give them Blood Gluttony so that they can keep themselves healthy. And I'm seeing that my instincts were right. But yeah, I look at the minus 100% and I just think in like Pokemon terms of like, okay, it's at -6. I'm gonna fat slam. Woo! I'm actually very pleased with how that fight went. Because I won that because of how I made my monster, not because of the sheer strength of the monster, right? Because before I did the minus 100% to its resistance and defense, I was not really hurting that thing. I do think having that boss use Shadow Summon was... I don't like that, because that's just like 50% off rip, but whatever. Though you defeated me, I cannot die. We are sustained by the Spire. I have no choice but to allow you passage. Damn straight you have no choice. I also should probably pick some people up off the floor. Oh wait, no, I'm good. Nobody died. You got real close. I almost let you die. Oh no, you did die. Cool. I have the talent that gives fainted stuff HP. That's what it is. Okay, that's a rare spawn right there. Oh. Yeah, someone did decide that fight was overtuned. This is insane. This is insane. Okay, this is sick. So basically, the tower is a la, it is not a roguelite in that it'll send you back, but it is a la like a healing room in one. I can do everything from here and nothing costs. So I can, because like, you know how I said I was going to go on a whole breeding frenzy with the new monsters I'm going to get from this place? I can do that now for free. That's really cool. I like how I hit this point in the game and the game is just going, go nuts. I think that is really, really cool. I don't want to fight any of you. I'm literally only opening these because I want demon packs, but I keep getting like evolution items. Why are you so big? Ah, he's the evolution of the starter. One of the starters. I think there's like 5. Please don't dragon tackle me. I'm delicate. Get in the ball. Thank you. Alright, yeah, that's really cool. I really like how they did this last tower of just... There's a bunch of cool stuff in here. We're gonna give you the facility to breed it and do whatever you want with these monsters. Have fun. And I think that's really cool. I think more games should do stuff like that. I just really like the idea of a game kind of just going, do your worst. I think that's a fun time. And I like that, you know, seeing what this tower does have to offer, right? I'm not one-shotting things anymore. I'm fighting things that kind of hurt. I wish this existed outside of the tower, too. Like this difficulty, like this strength that we're suddenly seeing. But in general, I'm loving what they did. Alright, I can't tame any of the, Floor Guardians, so I think I'll just be taming these guys. Also, for my actual finished polished review, don't expect footage from here. I don't want to spoil everything for someone. If I'm, like, reviewing the game, someone's thinking about buying it. I don't want to sit here and be like, this is all the end of the game. It kind of spoiled it for you guys, but kind of not, because this is cool, and I don't know, at least in my opinion, this is something to look forward to. What are you little dudes? Oh, look at him. He's tiny. And possibly dead already. Oh, that was 6. I didn't read his HP number, guys. I thought he was, bigger than that. However, guys, it is that time. So, thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoyed the stream, a like and a sub over on YouTube and a follow over on Twitch would be very much so appreciated. I'm trying to grow the channel right now, and every little bit helps. And definitely let me know in the comments what you would like to see different with streams like this in the future. I think I am going to keep kind of doing them where I kind of go over my thoughts about reviews and think of, and kind of like go into how I'm going to do a review. So, you know, definitely let me know in the comments what you'd like to see, what you didn't like, and, yeah. Anyways, guys, I'll be back later in another video. Peace out.